Hi, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Shaleia. Welcome back to our channel. And as you can see from the topic of today, I wanted to talk about sexual trauma healing in your twin flame union. And this has been a theme that has occurred in our life, marriage. I brought up in the last video I shot about us having to terminate our pregnancy, so it was ectopic. How a lot of my triggers and traumas around sexual abuse came up for me. And for one, I never really wanted to talk about this publicly because I felt like it's private. I think a lot of people can understand. That's for me. I don't like to necessarily wave my trauma around everyone's faces unless there's a really good reason for it. And the reason is to help others heal and to share what I learned from my experience going through sexual abuse. And so I guess I want to talk about what happened to me because it really propelled me down this path of not just harmonious twin flame union, but trauma healing as well. This is healing this experience that I had when I was very young. It propelled me into to the life that I have now, meaning that I was in such pain and suffering that I'm like, either I die because this is so horrible, like what do I do? Or I choose to find a way to heal this pain and to move on with my life, and grow and have the life of love that I felt I desired. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So my particular experience of sexual abuse is not something that I have seen or heard of as common. And I think I was about 3 years old, 3 to 5 years old. My parents had to, my mom had to work a job. My dad obviously worked a job, and my mom had to. And what ended up happening was they gave me to a babysitter like normal, right? And they vetted, I think maybe to the best of their ability, but that this babysitter was fine. But it was actually her children that sexually abused me for about 2-3 years, frequently. And I think what happens when you're so young and you're sexually abused like that, that it's literally designed to smash your boundaries, so that you basically don't have boundaries. And that's what ended up happening to me. I became really confused in my mind about what was okay to happen to me and what wasn't okay, because in my young mind, I trusted my parents, specifically my mom in this case, because she was the one that dealt with caregivers and stuff like that. And I think that if if you properly vet someone to take care of your kids, this probably wouldn't happen. Or because if you can trust that person, then you probably can trust their kids if they have kids or whatever. But my parents were really poor, and we were living in a very small 2-bedroom apartment, basement apartment, and they weren't making a lot of money. They were only in their mid-20s. And so I know, because of where I am now in my life and being the age that I am, like when my mom was a parent, that you would know if you should leave your kid, if you're being negligent on some level with your child or not. So unfortunately, like, what ended up happening was when I would be sexually abused by these boys, um, my mind didn't know how to handle it. And so on one hand, I thought, like, okay, I guess this feels good. Like, but on the other hand, like, something did feel really, really bad. And I didn't know how to tell my parents. And unfortunately, I know that my mom was also sexually abused as a child. And when I came out of her birth canal as a baby, her sexual trauma imprinted onto me. And that's partly why I had the experience that I had, was so that I could heal it, because my mom didn't. She ended up dying, for those of you that don't know, of cancer when I was just barely 15 years old. So yeah, I mean, my life has been full of challenges, but this is why I've been so adamant about healing and finding, like, what works for me and what has been successful, because I have found that I don't need to let these sorts of experiences like define me and like define my life. And yes, like, it happened, but I don't need to be defined by it anymore, or held back, or triggered, or traumatized. I don't need to identify with what happened to me anymore. Now, that doesn't say that I deny or I avoid what happened. No, like, you have to feel what happened to you fully in order for you to let it go with love. So I guess, what ended up happening was, I had, growing up and all throughout my 20s, I was very confused in many respects about how, like, I didn't know how to have good boundaries, especially boundaries on my sexuality, on my femininity. And contrastingly, I had walls up where there shouldn't have been walls, because that was like a healthy relationship or a good experience for me. Like, and part of what happens when someone sexually abuses you and violates your boundaries like that is so that they can control you to abuse you. That's part of the game of breaking down your boundaries and violating you. And so when I was going through this experience of the miscarriage, I could feel all of that pain and anger and upset being triggered and stirred up in my chakra system and in my physical body. And I think I hadn't fully accepted the depth of the impact of the sexual abuse in my life. And I think one of the things that I found made it harder growing up was being a practicing Catholic and hearing, like, I got like the opposite programming in a way to what actually happened to me and what was actually, like, what I was constantly experiencing. And so it created even more confusion. And so then I had walls up where I shouldn't have had walls, and open where I shouldn't be open. Like, this is a real thing. So I think what I found painful consciously, what I found painful throughout most of my life, was feeling separate from the masculine. I didn't have a dad, really. Like, he was not really, like, when he was married to my mom, like, he wasn't really around. And when he was around, he wasn't around. And then he left my mom, and a couple years later, he just disappeared for like 6 months, and he immigrated from where we were all living in Canada down to the United States. And I got a call that said, "Hey, honey, I'm married to this woman. She's your stepmom now." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Shocked. How do I process this? So, for me, I found like I needed to heal my father wounds first, and that was a major propulsion for me into my twin flame journey and finding Jeff. And when I had finally healed that last major core wound of my relationship with the masculine that was rooted in my relationship with my father, feeling not worthy of love and feeling abandoned in the relationship, or really there was no relationship actually. So when I finally healed that and said, I don't need a man to be happy in my life, like I just need myself and I need God. And as long as I have me and I love me, oh boy, here comes the tears. And I have God and I love God and God loves me, I'm going to be okay in my life. And I know that when I look back on my life, on my deathbed, I will look back with a smile. So when I finally came to that point, that's when I manifested Jeff, my twin flame. And that was really in a way, like that was the conclusion of my father healing. Like I healed abandonment of the masculine. The masculine came home. I healed that in my life. And I found that after we got together and we entered harmonious twin flame union and got married and all that stuff, wonderful stuff, of course, I didn't fully realize that my next real phase on my spiritual healing journey was really my mother healing. And my mother healing is directly tied to my sexual abuse, because she knew what was happening and she did nothing about it. And to feel that level of betrayal in your relationship with your parent, or at least for a daughter to a mom, like it can hit you really deep for quite some time. And so I always felt that this pregnancy journey that we've been on, I knew that it was probably going to bring up some mother wounds and mother healing stuff. And a lot of my dreams that are very difficult, that are about my childhood, my mom rarely like appears in them. Like it's usually other family members that took me in after her, her extended family that took me in, right? But I realized on the other day that, oh my gosh, like that's actually my mom I've been dreaming about this whole time. Like the whole experience, like when I went and had my biopsy and my sexual trauma pain was like poked at, I don't know, is that the right word for it? Like it triggered like extreme pain. And then when I had to get my methotrexate that would release the rest of this pregnancy, I had to go to the cancer center to get it. And I remember like promising, like when I was a teenager, that I'll never step foot anywhere near a cancer center again. I can't be around people who have cancer and want to put cancer in my face. Like, remember, like I was really young when I went. My mom had cancer twice. She had breast cancer, and then went into remission for a year, and then ended up having 7 brain tumors. So, and then she like died like a month or 2 after that prognosis. So it was like diagnosis, excuse me. Yeah, it was like I couldn't handle it. Like I was already dealing with a lot. And so when I went to the cancer center to get my methotrexate, because it's used for leukemia patients as well as ectopic pregnancies and people with severe arthritis. I just thought it was really weird and funny that here I am clearly like going through like the motherhood journey, you know, of trying to conceive and getting pregnant and like all this really deep mother stuff, like, and I felt like, especially at the very end of this journey that we're concluding with our this cycle of pregnancy, that I was really facing my mom this whole time. And I remember like that day, like when I uploaded the last video, I had to go to the labs and get blood work done. Like there was this woman who had like the energy, the vibe of my mom that took my blood work. And she was like not nice at all. And like, I get like, this wasn't just like someone who's kind of having a bad day. This was like genuinely like a not nice person. And she was really just cold and short with me and like angry and like, and I'm like, okay, like I'll just leave you alone, you know. But when someone is doing your blood work for you, meaning the person that inserts the needle into your skin, there's a very clear transference of energy through the metal of the needle. And I got a really clear download on that person. And it was just like my mom, that no matter what I did or didn't do, there was never making her happy. And even if I tried, I would fail. And I remember when I was done, like, you know, and she put the Band-Aid on me and she was just kind of being like a very grumpy and rude. I was like, okay, bye. You know, like, I'm just like, I'm not going to let that affect me. Like, I came to bring love and joy. I'm the one, like, right now, like, you can see, like, with my lab, like, I'm not going through an easy time, and I'm the one that's, like, trying to, you know, keep you light and bright. But I just said, no, I'm just going to withdraw and put that joy into me, and bye, you know, and I left. And that was kind of it. I didn't even really think about her until, like, at the end of the night when I realized, like, my God, like, that was my mom that I met. And then something really important happened when I was at the cancer center that afternoon. And I was there for about an hour or so, and had to wait for the pharmacy to bring me my dose. And we had a really wonderful nurse this time who administered the dose to me. And we felt like the cancer center was like a place of like spiritual exorcism. Like people are releasing some really deep, hard stuff, and sometimes entities that are connected to these cancers. And so when we were being directed out of the cancer center, you know, we just happened to walk by the area where the cancer patients are receiving chemotherapy. And some of them, this one lady in particular, I had an experience with where I knew what was happening. Like I was walking between worlds, and I was seeing what was happening spiritually on the astral, as well as like obviously the physical. And this is nothing against the woman that I saw that was receiving chemo. But when I looked through my third eye, my astral eyes, I saw, because she was sitting in the dark, and I saw my mom like receiving the chemotherapy and just glaring at me like so angry and hateful of me for no reason of my own. And I had just received, you know, a medicine that is considered a cancer drug, and never in my life would I have ever thought me, you know. And I thought, and I realized I'm here at the cancer center for a very different reason than you. Like, and I'm talking about my mom, right? That I saw in that moment. And I was like, I'm not like you at all. Like, I'm not like you at all. Like, I'm a loving person, and like I don't choose this path of hatred and anger and like being an agent of despair. My mom was so depressing, so despairing. Like, there was no joy in the house and no joy in the food, no joy ever. And sometimes, there'd be like little reprieves, or she would have a good day or a good mood. But like, life wasn't about, anything but her and what her needs were and what she wanted. And so really, I just dealt with being bullied my whole life. Like, my mom was my biggest hater. And I beat her that day because I have walked a different path than her. I have a different life than her. I saw her choices, and I made different choices. And this was something that I knew even at a very young age. Like, I felt like there was something wrong with my mom. And because she was never happy. And like, I just knew in my heart and soul, like, something is not right. And, for me, like, the sexual abuse was like, I was very innocent. Like, I didn't deserve that. That was my mom's hateful negligence, and on her part, and knowing that she did leave me in the care of someone disreputable, I suppose. Like, in my, like, there are signs, and like, I remember even with the mom, like, I shut out most of the memories, but there are two particular memories where I felt like I saw her touching us inappropriately. And then I remember specifically my mind couldn't handle anymore being so young, and it shut down. And I don't know, like, blacked out from there. I don't remember. But my conscience mind, like, remembers everything, my higher mind. And so as I got older, I didn't know I was sexually abused until, I don't know, like, really, like, 5 years ago or so. Like, and I had like spiritual friends who like would ask me, like, have you been sexually abused? Like, and because some of them were sexual abuse survivors themselves. And I'm like, no, not me. What are you talking about? And in my mind, I just thought, maybe it was just kids being curious. I don't know. Like, is that a thing? Or I don't know. Like, and the one boy I literally, in my innocence, thought was my twin flame. And so, like, I got confused. But since meeting Jeff, like, he's my perfect partner, and he's been helping me heal this sexual trauma in our union. And I just want to let you know that, like, healing your sexual trauma, like, you can do it, and like, it does have an impact on your union. Like, there were definitely places for like all these years, like, I couldn't go with Jeff. I'm like, no, not no, like, I guess I could appear controlling, and that was me, just like, because I always felt this pain inside that area. And so I was just really, for me, I was just managing it. And like, this whole idea of, well, just go to the pain and touch it. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, that's pain. Like, that hurts. Ow. I'm not gonna do that. But after all these years and like building trust, not just in our relationship, but in myself, because remember, my boundaries had been essentially shattered, and I've been working to rebuild and learn healthy boundaries, because I was never taught that growing up very well. That like I got the right partner for me to help me in healing my sexual trauma, and like also holding space for me to heal it myself. And yeah, I think I think that, there's still like some layers of it that I'm healing. But I know that this past weekend and last week, like I really did finally hit the core of it. And it's really relieving for me. So, do you have anything to add?
I think you have more to say.
I feel like I do. I'm just like, I don't know. I think I just got shy or something. Yeah. Well, I guess like what I do want to bring up is that like to have a healthy union, like a harmonious twin flame union, and to have a family come from that, like you have to go on your mother's spiritual healing and your father's spiritual healing. And I think a lot of you that are on like the twin flame journey, like you I'm talking specifically to the divine feminines right now, that like you do feel that separation, that pain from your masculine. Like that seems to be like the most glaring problem basically in your life, and you're willing to resolve it. But after that gets resolved, like, and even during like the mother healing, like you can't avoid it. It's something that is going to impact you like for the rest of your life. And that's the thing I found about mother healing is like it's not usually, but traditionally, feminine energy is represented by like the subconscious or the unknown, like the moon, like your moon sign, for instance, like your emotions, your subconscious. And what I'm trying to say is that like I didn't realize how impacted I was by my relationship with my mom until recently. I thought that I didn't have a lot of mother issues or like issue with my mom. I thought I pretty much worked through it, and like my life went on, and it turned out okay for me. I'm with the love of my life. I'm living my life purpose, and we're building our home real nice and working on family. But your mother is inside of you, and you imprint that to and from like your biological mother. And so like until you heal that, like you will find problems in your union. And like when you have the right support around you, you can heal it. So
I just want to add, first of all, like, thank you for sharing that. It was very brave.
Thank you, yeah.
That takes a lot of courage to open up and share yourself in that way. And I think that a lot of people can relate, to your experiences.
Thank you.
And what I want to say, and the reason we're sitting down here and sharing this with you, is you can heal your trauma. You can heal too. And the Twin Flame Ascension journey, I think a lot of people get fixated on the little candy that is, your twin flame. Yeah. And that's wonderful, but remember the purpose of the Twin Flame Ascension journey is ascension. Yeah. And that is what we teach through our body of work. And what you're witnessing Shaleia describing is her own and our own twin flame ascension journey. Now, everyone's journey is going to be completely unique. Yeah. Don't worry if you don't have all these horrific traumas that Shaleia is sharing. Each of us has our own journey. Yeah. Maybe many of you have, very minor traumas, light things to work through before you can have your harmonious union. And that's great. And maybe some of you have traumas that you feel are even more intense or more difficult than, it just doesn't matter. Right. What matters is that you have a choice. And you can either project the pain outside of you onto other people or other situations. You can project it onto the past. You can say anything but you is the reason that you're in pain. Mm-hmm. And that might make you feel good temporarily, because in your anger, you're numbing out the pain within you. And in your projection, you're relinquishing your perceived responsibility over the pain that you're experiencing inside of you. But that is nonsense, because you're never going to feel better until you feel through and heal the pain inside of you. And no one else can be responsible for your pain. Notice Shaleia wasn't blaming mom for her trauma.
No.
She wasn't angry at mom. She might have angry feelings, but she wasn't actively generating anger or projecting her pain onto mom. She was taking full responsibility for her own experience of her own pain and her own trauma. And she was working through it one piece at a time to the best of her ability. And we assure you that this is enough. That what you are and the tools that we are giving you are more than enough to walk courageously through the trauma. And you can heal it. And if you look at our YouTube channel from the beginning and you hear the story of Shaleia's life, growing up poor, getting horrifically traumatized. When I met her, she was living in a garage on a mattress and barely holding down a part-time job. And I was living under a tarp in the woods in the jungle in Hawaii. And now here we are doing very well for ourselves, living the life of our dreams, having found one another, and having cultivated these tools and this body of work that was given to us by God, so that you can heal yourself too. And we want to show you the example of our lives, that, hey, look where we came from. And you can see us on our YouTube channel having just come together for the first time, up until today and all the days to come that we will share. Look how far we've come. Look how quickly. And some people want to write us off and say, oh, that's not possible what you're doing. And I assure you, it is. They would say, oh, you must be doing something illicit or sinister in order to achieve the miraculous results that you have achieved in your life. No one can dispute the miraculous results we experience. But what we say to you is that these results come from a very specific process that we've been teaching you throughout this video, that we teach you throughout all our YouTube videos, that we teach you in depth in our school and in our products and through our larger body of work, even imbued in the consciousness and culture of our community that has been built around the body of our work. It all says you can heal yourself and you will rise above this, not by blaming people outside of you, not by projecting your responsibility to heal yourself onto others, not by cultivating anger to numb out the pain inside of you and pointing it at other people, but by taking real responsibility for your own internal experiences, feeling your feelings fully, and working through what arises. Not taking personally the experiences you have in life, like our second miscarriage. Not saying that those experiences I do not deserve, therefore God is wrong, or God is not real, or I should take control of my life in this way.
I feel like this miscarriage has been a significant opportunity for me to heal my sexual trauma and to heal the core wound of my relationship with my mother. Like, I got to walk out of the cancer center knowing that, like, I beat my mom and I did it with love, you know? Like, I'm not mad, I'm not angry, but I'm not like you and I don't have to be like you. And it's very clear to me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that there was no pleasing you ever. that I would never be worthy of your love. So all I can do is leave that relationship because it's not a relationship. There's no relating. There's no love there. So I'm not beholden to someone like that. And it really helped open my eyes even deeper and further to my real true mother in heaven, and that's Divine Mother, and that I was loved and mothered all along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This work may seem hard. It may seem extreme. It may seem impossible for anyone but the strongest of people. But you get stronger the more you do it. And God never gives you a challenge greater than your ability to complete it and move through it. And the reality is, none of us gets the option about whether to do this work. We only get the option of when to do this work.
Yeah.
And so the inner work, the work of purifying your consciousness, of ironing out and healing all of these traumas, all of these imbalances, all of these pieces and upsets within ourselves that take us away from our peace and our wholeness. You have to work through them. Ignoring them and putting them off does not resolve the problem. Pursuing that other thing while avoiding the thing that you know you really should be looking at is not going to bring you happiness. True eternal happiness is only found by purifying your consciousness within yourself. And everyone can do it, even you. If Shaleia can heal through these traumas, you can heal through your traumas. There's nothing special about us. We don't have any extraordinary talent that gives us the ability to work through these challenges. It doesn't take extreme intelligence or deep spiritual gifts to be able to identify, hey, I don't feel so good. Why?
Right.
It just takes a willingness to do it and the grit and perseverance and commitment to work all the way through it. It takes someone who really truly loves themselves.
Yeah.
And if you love yourself, you're going to do anything to love you and to heal you and to give yourself everything you need so that you can experience the fullness and wholeness of your divine self.
I noticed that, right after experiencing this healing the other day, I recognized that sometimes because my boundaries being, so not there, from the trauma, so confused that I didn't even know what did and didn't feel good. And Jeff pointed it out that night that my cat was acting out, and he purposely dropped my bath towel on the floor and started sleeping on it. And he'd done that before, and normally I'd be like, oh, that's so cute, oh, he's so sweet, he loves his mom, he's wanting to connect. And at the same time, there's this quiet voice in me that's I don't think I like my towel on the floor. But I realized this was my trigger or my trauma. It was I preferred my idea of my cat's love of me rather than me loving myself, and recognizing that actually my boundary is being violated right now. He's not loving me, and so I must show him how to love me properly. And so I picked up my towel off the ground. I explained to my cat that I don't like it being dirty because I use it. And then he started to immediately do it again, and I kicked him out of the bedroom. I was like, no, I can't have this, and I immediately sat down, and I was like, wow, I feel so good. I didn't realize how bad it felt that I didn't have, and this is something Jeff's been telling me for years, that I don't have good boundaries with the pets, and it's created problems in our relationship and behavioral issues. And putting that boundary on my cat, I felt really empowered, and I recognized immediately, oh, I didn't realize that I felt really bad. I didn't have a boundary there, but now I feel good. And then like half hour later, my cat ends up coming back in, and he apologized, and he was so sweet. He was like, "I won't do that again, Mom." I'm like, "Okay, thank you. I appreciate that." And my relationship with my male cat has gotten a lot better now. Like, he respects my boundaries a lot more. I'm a lot more clear about my boundaries, and this is part of healing, like this trauma. So being able to do that has allowed me to feel much more safer and more loved and supported in my reality. And it's allowing me to heal my creativity, because your sexuality is obviously tied to procreation, and that is a very high creative act, you making a baby. And so I feel like, having healed this, this might be very good for my fertility. So, yeah.
So, in conclusion, I want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
Healing is not a one-time thing or a period of your life where you decide to heal and then, you move on to what you were doing before feeling better. Healing is a lifelong endeavor. It's an always kind of thing. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
And when you get really comfortable feeling your feelings, and you get really comfortable dealing with the uncomfortable feelings and getting really honest with yourself and present in them, and you get really comfortable working through whatever arises, it makes you an unstoppable person. It makes you powerful, because whatever you decide to head in the direction of, you're going to continue in that direction, and you're not going to be swayed by anyone or anything outside of you. The only thing that's going to change your course is when you transcend the problem in front of you, when you heal, and when you rise up to a higher awareness. So we leave you with this, that you can heal too. And no matter what it is, you can heal through it. And you're not alone. You don't have to figure out how to do this. Shaleia and I are very gifted in this area, that we went out and found and developed and created and cultivated and distilled this teaching, this way of being, this consciousness, this way for you. And that is the teaching of union. So if you'd like to endeavor that into this path for yourself, go to twinflamesuniverse.com. You can read more about Shaleia's Twin Flame story and how she came to find me. And you can sign up and get yourself a free introductory course. It's 8 lessons long. It's while it's free, it's not cheap. It's really valuable, really good, really in-depth, and it's going to get you started. It's not shallow, by the way. When I say get you started, it's going to dive you all the way in these 8 lessons.
What this is,
And we don't feel you should stop there. Not only do we have self-study courses like Twin Flame Ascension School and Life Purpose Class and our e-courses and our book, etc., you really want to partner with a guide on this twin flame journey. And it used to be that Shaleia and I, a few years ago, could personally be your guide and personally help you if you had joined one of our live classes or done some private coaching with us, or maybe done a reading.
School. Yeah.
Right. However, it has grown such that there's way too many people who are coming into the awareness that they have a twin flame, that they want to heal, and that this work is immensely powerful in helping them achieve these goals. And so many people are continuing to come to these teachings of union. And we have developed a coaching program so that you can have a personal guide, personally trained by us or our student lineage, to help you on your ascension journey. You do not have to do this alone. Shaleia and I don't do this alone. We never have. and you don't either. This is why we highly recommend you get yourself equipped a certified twin flame ascension coach from Twin Flames Universe.
Yeah.
If you get the introductory course, you get half off your first introductory session with them.
You do, yeah.
They offer exceptionally good prices, many of them.
Yeah.
So they're going to work with you to find an affordable way to help you.
I think you'll feel relieved having guidance on this path, because you don't have to do it alone, and like it's really, really, really hard to go out alone. And part of why we have gone through our traumas and our struggles all throughout our early life, even currently, you know, it's in service to you, to help you, to show you the way. Like, I'm so grateful that like my doctor like loved me by getting her doctorate in you know, in gynecology. Like, I couldn't do that myself, you know, but she did, and she did it to love me. And we're the same, we're healers as much as we're teachers, and we've been healing you know, universal traumas and triggers and relationship problems, so that we can show you how to do it for your own life. And we hope that you choose to benefit from our lessons and what we have to give.
And if you have exceptional trauma, a specific traumatic event that haunts you,
PTSD or something.
well, yeah, maybe even PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
We have a trauma healing modality called MAP, the mind alignment process, where a certified MAP practitioner will guide you through healing that trauma. And the results coming out of that program are extraordinary.
Yeah, it's the new leading edge healing modality. So get it while it's, you know.
Go to mindalignmentprocess.org. You can get yourself set up with a free consultation.
Yeah. We'll put link in the description.
Mm-hmm. So there are many tools that we've developed and cultivated over the years and are actively cultivating, and we have groups of very highly dedicated, passionate, skilled, talented, and loving people who are continuing to cultivate and bring those modalities forth for your benefit. So lots of tools.
Yes, when you heal your life, you heal your twin flame union. So
and that's the bottom line.
That's the bottom
That's
line.
how you get here.
That's how you get here. Yeah. I just want to thank you.
Yeah, why are you gonna thank me?
Because, oh shit, you've been a really good support.
Well, I love you.
Through my own traumas. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to like quickly at the end give you a nice little nod. So
Well,
thank you.
This is my challenge too.
Yeah.
Is like I get you as you are, and I accept you as you are, and I love you as you are. And no matter how hurt you may find yourself, or how traumatized, no matter how upset, or you know how much you might think that I'm, you know, causing your pain and try to take it out on me, I still love you, and I'm gonna be with you here through all of it, and I'm gonna stand with you through your traumas. And I'm gonna stand by you while you heal.
Well, I stand by you too, honey.
Thank you. Yes, you
Thank
do.
you.
Yeah. I love you.
I love you too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Should we kiss?
Okay. We would kiss anyway.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. See you in the next one.